Peace to everybody out there. This is Z Props, aka the Black PreZ1Don. Back with a new episode, like I said, entitled The Crucifixion and Resurrection of Props, the Black PreZ1Don. Yeah, you haven't seen me in a while. And just like I was saying, the last episode, it's change. And I've been dealing with that change, just like everyone else has. The combination for me has been, of course, the Trump. Actually, on a few levels. The Trump administration. If you remember in November, the introduction to us, the people, of artificial intelligence. So I've been using that to simultaneously scale what I've been working on and create a workflow. I had already been using it. I had already been using artificial intelligence, knowingly and not knowingly. Knowingly, maybe about 2-3 years ago, since ChatGPT. I was teaching when ChatGPT came out, so I saw that firsthand. But I've been into tech, so I was already preparing for it to come. And so I was using it, and it's a lot. And also, what really happened is me, the person who came up with the concept of AI intelligence, not you, dude from Oakland, me, or Kaba. I saw you try to use that too, and the concept of ancestral intelligence. See, that's what it's about. It's about now showing and proving now. That's all it is. You try to steal all my styles, but my style just went, and that's what we're about to show now. So the point is that concept of AI intelligence merged with the new introduction of the current iteration of artificial intelligence. So that just took my stuff to a whole new level. So my conception of artificial intelligence, ancestral intelligence, plus just my general consciousness as far as what you guys want to know about, all the deep stuff that you think you know. Mine was fortifying itself and revealing itself to me in a different way. So I've been dealing with that. So, but clearly, the impetus, there you go. The impetus behind me doing this episode was, I wrote a post last week on Facebook about Vibes Cartel performing at Barclays. And I commented on the fact that he's being paraded around like a hero. He's on Street Soldiers of all places. And that's an injustice in my eyes. And it's a microcosm of what I feel like has been a crucifixion, metaphorically. Not just metaphorically too, practically too. Like I said. But first, let's before we get into that, but that's the impetus. Dude in Barclays, he's on Street Soldiers, and I wrote an article on that. I wrote something on that, introducing the show. And in typical fashion, from the time I said I was going to do the show to now, more things have happened. It's almost like the universe said, oh, you're going to do a show? I'm going to give you more stuff to talk about to prove what you're talking about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just a flood. Like I said, I have 25 years worth of things that I've written down, great notes, and, that come day by day. That's why a lot of times it's really difficult, because it's like a flood every day. I want to stop. So maybe this is a good time to stop so I could download what I have and recreate and make new things, and which I have a lot. I've created, but I have more information to create. And I feel like now is a time for that. Creating new works, providing new insight. But not for free, boy. That's the issue. That's the issue. That's the crucifixion. That's the quagmire of providing all this information, providing all this insight, doing all this work, and people stealing your shit. And we're gonna get into that. Not giving you credit, and then not allowing you the opportunity to earn money off of it. And it's on two levels. It's an injustice just on a moral level, but on a hip-hop personal level, it's like niggas want to take your shit and diss you. So I'm responding on both levels. I'm responding in a professional manner to show you that you're not on my level, to practically put it in court of public opinion, that all these people are scumbag, people doing this, it's a wrong, it's an injustice to me, and just on some hip-hop competitive shit, like, yo, nigga, you can't fuck with me, nigga. That's why you gotta steal my shit. And you pussy. You don't want to clash, you don't want to battle, you don't want to debate. I'm gonna expose that too. Because it's not like I don't call you out. I tweet you, I'm in the crib, and nobody want it. That's wrong. Now, before I start, well, I started already, right? Let me, and this is the first example. Emfadishi. You got a black hoodie on, and you got with this, and then you got notes, and you try to be like me. Especially you committed elders. Emfadishi, Leonard Jeffries, Professor Small. You guys are perfect examples of elders who do not want to, and that's a big, and this is probably how I want to do this too. That's why my tone is like, this is a generational thing too. I'm very disappointed in the elders. Like, you hate on me so bad, you haven't, when clearly I'm the person. It's like, you know I could be on your level as a young person, so what you do is try to go around me and get a young person to try to be like me. Like how King Simon tried to put Brother Polite on. How did that work out? So I'm saying Emfadishi, like, it's clear that you saw my shit. Like, you got your little notes on and you like spitting. I like the presentation, but then why don't you holler at the God? Brother Rich is nobody. You can't fuck with this. See, that's how God, the universe worked. You rise somebody up, clearly to be like somebody else, under the guise of righteousness, guise of consciousness, and what does God do? Strike them down. Try to rise up Brother Polite, boom. Try to rise up Billy Carson, he got whopped. And it's so funny, this happens in almost every aspect. When you try to do that to me, all of you got wiped out. Now, before we get into that first, I just want to say Emfadishi. I seen that. See, I go after big y'all little nigga. Yeah, I saw that. Because I don't miss anything. It's my consciousness. I embody the consciousness that you're trying to imitate. Now, let's start with, I wanted to, man, let me give a shout out to everybody who gave me a birthday shout out. You know, I didn't respond because I want to get off that. I don't know if a lot of you just probably do that. There's a few of you I know that, especially, I'm gonna tell you, the one whose mom spilt the drink in the back of my car, who always seemed to call my house when my car was getting towed, I don't trust you at all. Now, let me give a shout out to the people who gave me a shout out. Give a shout out to Sean from Medgar. Give a shout out to Light, 52 Blocks, us. Give a shout out to my cousin Ak in Atlanta. Give a shout out to Crystal. Give a shout out to Doreen. BTQ, nah, I'm gonna say that. HRS. Doreen, they're all pieces of trash. All them Stuyvesant niggas is nothing. You know that they hate us. You know. Shout out to Michael Cherry. Thanks for the shout out, brother. You a bit. I saw you with Tyson over there. Shout out to Michael Cherry. Support the Michael Cherry collection. Shout out to my cousin Eli, always supporting. R.I.P. Reginald, a.k.a. Superman. Peace to my cousin Greg. Violin, sexy. No, let me not say that, you know. Shout out to cousin John Legrand, us. Shout out to Tashana. Shout out to Chanel. Well. Shout out to Will Fonseca. Will, what you gonna do? What's up? You got a movie you gotta do now, Will? You got a movie you gonna do? Win awards and not give me no credit? El Bandito? Hit me up, man. We could do a movie, primo. Yeah. Shout out to Bart from Kentucky. Bart, shout out Bart, yo. Shout out to Edison. Shout out to Martin. I think I saw something about your mom passing away. R.I.P. Shout out to the God Born God Pace. Shout out to the great Professor Salim, Washington. I know you. See, you're the ace card. I didn't call, all that debate about hip hop and all of that. I knew you were itching to jump out, but I didn't want to call you to destroy them. You understand? But I really want to do a show with you. You're a real musician, a jazz aficionado musician, and we could have a really positive discussion. Shout out to my brother Keith and his family. Shout out to Dane. Shout out to Lee. Shout out to Nicolas Almanor from Tech. He's professor at Tech. Shout out to Betty Wap Suive. Huh? Yeah. I meant to Suive. Shout out to Jerry. I'm not calling you no mad son Wukong, Jerry. What the hell is that? Shout out to Jerry, nigga. I can hear your father. I can hear your father laughing right now. Ha! Shout out to Karen out in Trinidad. Shout out to Kinsley. Shout out to Woods. Shout out to Vladimir. Edouard. Shout out to my girl Kimberly in LI. Your stories about LI, mad funny. Shout out to you and the little man. And shout out to Didi, a.k.a. Room. Didi, I got a message. Yo, go call your man Jerry. Jerry, ou toujours dit comme ça que mais toujours fait mauvais sang, ou pourquoi ouais mauvais sang? Like, get maman. Peace. All right? So shout out to all of you. Now, let's get to it. Now, I gotta look at my notes, All right. The Crucifixion and Resurrection of E-Props, a.k.a. the Black PreZ1Don. I'm gonna glance over. I got it's nothing. I'm already, gonna pass it up. We're gonna take this off and get this done. Don't worry about it. But this is the realest you're gonna get right here. I do this for a reason, just to show you this is the level I had to get to accomplish what I had to. I had to let my gray hair get in because the older people older than me, they didn't want to take the responsibility. That's a cross I had to bear. Think way older, more mature, the people older than me. But I'm not wasting my youth. My youth is already, I'm not going to say it's a waste because I feel like cyclically in any life, there's certain ages that are designated for certain things. And my 30s and 40s, I knew were a work time because it's the prominent time where you have physical strength and mental strength at a good balance, right? And if you do it right, you'll have longevity. And I feel like I've accomplished that. So I don't regret that. However, I'm not doing that for any other, some ungrateful, sansal, malfecté, kaka, chanouin, kiraim. Now, let me give you the context and the lens. Like, for you, how do you view this? As a native New Yorker, because that's where I had to get to. It was always there, but enough respect to New York. Because it's real. It's a New York, it's a way of thinking, dare I say, spirit of New York. If I could be here in this undisclosed location and be in tap with New York You know New York is a consciousness, right? That which is why I developed the consciousness of is hip hop and African religion. That's the lens you got to see that. The native New Yorker who developed that, I wrote that. And presented that at City University, New York Grad Center, all over, in Kemet, aka Egypt, on the Nile, after I went to Abu Simbel. Right, Professor Crawford? Or how Joel call you Clinton? Or Sean? Why don't you go tell your fellow Guyanese man that I want the tapes of me in Kemet. See, these are the type of injustices attempt to exploit. That's why I'm mad, because like those are the people who've been the most disappointed. And that's part of the crucifixion too, metaphorical crucifixion. You would think that after I came up with the concept of is hip hop an African religion, all of the black, they would support you. It's been the direct opposite. Especially from the African religious community, giving them a terrible name. Instead of embracing me for that concept, I know they've spiritually attacked me, and they've looked at me as competitors, as a competitor. Because these are people who look down on hip hop. They did. They either looked down on it or had an envy because they weren't part of it. So for me to come up with the concept and be really part of it, they felt threatened by it. Not threatened, just hate. Professional player hate. Yeah. And I name them. Jeffrey, Small. How can I name them if I don't know? Because I know them. I've seen them. I've approached them. And I know they know me. Did I tell a story about how Professor Small at Medgar Evers, I gave him my paper. He never called me. And then when I did a conference, he was like, oh, yeah, what's up? Like he knew me. So multiply that by 1,000. My work has been floating around for how many years? So how come anybody hasn't reached out to me on any level in New York as far as hip hop? That's why I'm mad about that cartel shit. That shit is an injustice. And you trying to claim me. See, that's the crucifixion I'm talking about. And you ask them, they'll come up with any excuse, but they pick and choose. They say my attitude or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But look at the piece of trash that you hang out with or that you try to revere. I'm nowhere near as wicked as them. So it goes to show you that it's misplaced. And it's all of it. Listen, everybody. Jew, gay, white, Haitian, Jamaican, African American. Everybody knows me in New York, bro. So that's the perspective. Native New Yorker. Which is right too, because it is, again, a microcosm of that hate that's been on New York hip hop. Like this, and I figured it out a long time ago. It's particularly 80s and 90s. 80s too. Even though the 80s, they're hating too. They hate us too in the sense that like, they only feel like it's them. Nobody gets in their circle. KRS-One, Slick Rick, blah, 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 Kane. And I'm like, nigga, no, I'm in that circle too, even though I was young. I was in New York in the goddamn 80s. That's what I'm saying. If I'm not in the pantheon of Slick Rick, Rock Kane, blah, 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 nobody outside of New York is. Nobody. Period. I don't give a damn how many, if nigga, you're not all in you know who it is. LL. That's why I saw that LL Eminem. Nigga, you crazy. It's subtle. And that's what I'm fighting against. People trying to write the narrative to include other people and skip and say, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what it is. Everybody thinks they're a hip-hop fucking expert. Everybody. There's some people, like, even, let me tell you think Donald Trump doesn't have opinions on hip-hop, bro? That's why when I said that in the freestyle, I'm like, yo, how many? They got 300 tracks saying his name. And he from New York. That's what I'm saying. People want to write themselves into this New York narrative because it's biblical level. And guess what? An example hit today. Let me talk about it. This dude named PreZ, writer. And like I said, I'm a journalist. I know all the writers. And we're going to get into that too. Like how Stephen A. Smith playing himself thing. You're going to get, what? You know who's going to get you? Mad Dog is going to get you. You over there talking about you want to run for president? Right? You want to run for president? He's going to be the first one to tell you take it easy. You know why? If you would know, you would know. You see, you know how many years I've listened to? First of all, you can't tell me nothing. Bob Clappish, Steve Serby, everybody know Lupica. Let me see another one. Clappish, Joel, I forget your name. Sherman. Come on, man. The Daily News plant used to be around the corner from my grandmother's house on Pacific, bro. Now, Mad Dog, stay reading about history and all that. Years and years, he's gonna destroy you if you try to. Years and years, he's like, yeah, I read the autobiography. I read the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Years. Take heed. And Stephen A. Smith is a perfect example of the arrogance of someone who mistakes the fact that he rode a wave. Now he's the wave. So I looked at you literally rode the wave of AI. You was in Philly, brother. You said AI rode a wave, but he was more making the wave than you ever were, brother. And then I saw some shit you with Floyd talking about how his shit cost 1.5 million. Then you want to start to diss him? Weak. That's why people on the other side, the Democrats, lost. You got arrogant. You started to think that you are the culture instead of the people who made it. Like me, from the 80s and 90s of hip hop. Now, so we have this perspective of people who think and mistake their proximity to the culture with being an expert and being able to dictate it. So PreZ, this journalist, hip-hop journalist, he was there. He used to, I saw him back in the day. I saw something on Rolanda after Tupac died, I don't really, maybe I said your name and when I pulled out the ego trip. I know you're a writer. You transitioned from writer hip-hop to writing for the Village Voice. You're a super liberal. You live in Fort Greene by where they do house act. Like, you be at Afro punk in Fort Greene. Now you want to ride the wave of Kendrick Lamar back into hip hop. But what do? You talk about Kendrick Lamar and then you have a interview with, I think, Ghostface, somebody who's a transsexual or some shit. That's why, like, so today, PreZ trying to do the same thing, ironically, on Easter, wearing what? Red, green, and gold Rasta type of thing. And he's talking about Lauryn Hill, right? That's different for a few reasons. Number one. So he's talking about Lauryn Hill. He's like, I know why they broke up. Rehashing the same gossip. That's what, hip-hop media terrible. You don't talk about music. You talk about old stories. Because this is the biggest story, greatest hip-hop story ever told. It's about to be told by me, props. So he's telling a story about Wyclef did, blah, 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 Wyclef and Lauryn, blah, 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 which I could tell too because I was there, right? But here's the mistake. This is the perfect example, right? So he's like, yeah, this era, I was there, which he was there. I interviewed her a lot of times, blah, 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 this, and I interviewed people close to her, like Wyclef, He put a picture up Wyclef, like PreZ. He put a picture up of PreZ. Then he was like, and then he put a picture of him and Questlove. Questlove wasn't there. Perfect example. He wasn't there. He wasn't there. He don't relate to the Fugees. How does Questlove relate to the Fugees? Where? How? He produced for them? He played drums with them? As a matter of fact, he's probably their competitor. Because it was the band shit. That's wrong. He's not in that pantheon. And you know what's so funny about that shit? I am. I'm the closest thing to the Fugees alive. I'm better than the Fugees. Always been. Always will be. Sorry. Always been. Always will be. I'm the original. I'm a Pan-African rapper. I'm more like Wyclef, obviously, than Lauren. I'm more like Lauren than Wyclef. You hear that? I'm a super top-notch lyricist like Lauren. I'm a super musician, producer nigga, supposedly, like Wyclef. What you mean? Matter of fact, I'm going to take it a step further. Think about the Roots, though. First of all, never forget, they dissed Biggie. See, they're hypocrites. Shout out to them. They cool. I listen. Blah, blah, blah. And the thing about it is, and the thing about the Questlove, it's just like the RZA and Nas. You niggas try to make it like he's the only person who knows about music, the Roots. When his scope is limited, he only knows about African-American music. One. Like RZA's the only person with knowledge in hip-hop. Like Nas is the only rapper who got knowledge. That's wrong. That's why you got your ass whooped. Because you know what's the crux of that? Player hating and racism. The people, Nas full of Hispanics. Who you think is behind Nas? His girl, the war that had Jay-Z and Nas was over a Puerto Rican chick. What you mean? It's that. Let me tell you something. Roots diss Biggie and Mr. Man for Bush Babies. Mr. say, y'all try to crawl out your oil and try to bring back the Bush babies. Y'all try to bring back the Bush baby thing. You was dissing Biggie too. You in that What They Do video. Mr. Man from Bush Babies. Now you want to come out of no, nigga. That's for me. Let me tell you. We're gonna get all the freedom of information there. I don't know. I must be a god. Let me tell you something. Straight up. I'll be at home listening to niggas, all of a sudden they become popular again. Straight up. Like K Solo. I be banging K Solo. Next thing you know, he's on that joint Bigger Picture. I'm like, God damn. We already know EPMD. I'll put EPMD on my playlist. Next thing, get off my nuts. Yo, that shit is, yo. Get an original hip-hop idea. And let me take it a step further. My pantheon is Biggie, Tupac, Fugees. I'm that. That's me. Today, right now. It's been like that. Closest thing. So you guys you guys keep trying to rehash, do some old shit, bring old niggas, but you don't want to get the new, improved, the evolution, the hip hop evolution, the you know what I'm saying? Right here, you want to try to diss it. Nah, that's the crucifixion, and Trump destroying y'all is the resurrection. Yeah. I couldn't do it by myself. No, God was like, oh, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to destroy them niggas and make them niggas look stupid for trying to play you, nigga. Because they've been trying to, and we're going to talk about it. Yeah. So that's an example of Toure trying to rewrite and put, he want to try to say, oh, yeah, Lauryn Hill was, let me ask you a question. Yo, Questlove, were you there when, I don't know, you know what? First, let me say, I don't know if it was the same time or not. He was talking about the thing with Lauren and Wyclef, which is part of what's going on now too. C'est pas vrai? Ou sont des freestyle à moi te fait dans l'école là samedi? Hein? bonne relation want. Qui te l'école là, like Darnell and AV. How y'all niggas used to try to play me? And I had to come to my school, Brooklyn College. And the dude Haitian V. Yeah. Vous songez? Bonne son want. When I dropped that freestyle, and then what happened in 2009, and what happened a few months later? Vous songez something did Wyclef à Lauryn Hill? Ouais, ça passe kounya là? Now. Damn, I forgot what I was talking about. Lauryn. Yeah. So Questlove, he was talking about Lauryn Hill. Now, let me tell you two things I remember. Let me see if he was there. Number one, I know that Lauryn Hill Labor Day, she was on a Fuji float either after Wyclef album first dropped. Had to be. There's no way she would have been there in 98. 98 was when she dropped her album. So she wasn't there. It wasn't there. It was 97. She was on a float Labor Day with Wyclef. I was there. Where you was at? You was in the village with motherfucking Mos Def and Kweli, nigga. Y'all nigga don't play with me, nigga. Now, talk about nah, same as that girl. Yo, you guys were snobbish haters. Like, you mad because I'm academic and I'm from the hood. And when I say from the hood, I'm not a savage. That's the thing too. That's what make them mad. Now, I have the type of credibility you don't have. From the 80s. Yeah. I don't talk, of course. If I would have went to Rikers Island 1993, 94, I would have known everybody in that motherfucker. Yeah. Now, why is it important? Again, the impetus was the Barclays Center and having Vibes Cartel there. Again, dude been in jail all these years. He coming in a venue. Again, first of all, it begins with like I'm gonna reiterate and keep telling you, my grandfather's house, 538 Vanderbilt Avenue, which they threatened for eminent domain, forced them to sell, and built what is there today, which is Pacific Park, combined with the Barclays Center, which in and of itself is the fact that they tried to block me from participating as a developer, real estate developer, which we had the wherewithal. Of course, you think that if people own the property for 30, I was raised in that mother. Like, shit that listen, I'm outside, I'm standing outside, I could be standing outside, come back, my grandma's like, yo, go pay the light bill. Natural shit. I'm upstairs, I'm like, yo, grandma, give me $1 for a pizza. While she's giving me $1 for a pizza, she's telling me, yeah, I gotta pay the rent. Go outside, and then my grandfather's starting up his truck. This is basic for me. You think I didn't learn that? People were getting mortgage. This is things we knew about in the early 90s. So you think by the time they developed, we saw it coming. We literally, me and my older uncle, the scumbag we'll talk about, one of the people who try to crucify me, along with my scumbag pops. Yeah, it's like that. We literally sat there. There's a building on the corner of Atlantic and Vanderbilt. When they changed that face, we thought it was Microsoft. Swear to God. We sat there like, yo, who's coming? Yo, Microsoft coming. This is the year 2000, bro. We knew it was coming. So for them, and the them is multiple. We're going to get to that. The them start with the black political establishment led by Sharpton and Daughtry and Letitia James and Adam. Yeah. mastered that. There's no mystery God over here. We tell him who we talking about here. Now, so for them not to bring me in, and then here's the thing. You don't want to bring me in to make money off the stadium or whatever, right? Which, in any capacity. But the thing about it is that the original developer, Ratner, because of financial crisis or whatever, he couldn't sustain it. So then they got a Chinese company to buy it, right? And then the thing about it is he buys the shit. This is the same dude when the guy from the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, had beef because I remember LeBron went to China and he said something. They started riffing. The dude was in America and said China's sovereignty is non-negotiable. This is a fucking American story, bro. This nigga, that shit is... I'm gonna say something about that shit. What the fuck? Like, yo, it's not like super patriot, but it's like, damn, bro, you mean to tell me I can't... This is America? Nobody saying nothing. And niggas... How am I supposed to feel about that? I'm like, yo, niggas like, yo, no, Chinese money. I'm like, yo. And I said, okay, so he's saying this Chinese shit. So that means that he's going to make sure to get the American, and let's talk about the American credentials. Again, grandmother, grandfather owned the property, bought the property, their children have college, have certain credentials. I have credentials, and I rap. That's the worst part. So, then I lose my train of thought. So they don't bring you in on that side, the business side, developer side. Cool. They don't bring you in on the artist side to perform. They got all type of trash performing there at Barclays. Cool. So what do? The money that was paid, did I get some? Of course I got some. But guess what? I invested it right back into myself. So all the stuff I invest, that's what you see now. And you didn't even see the full flip yet. Because I've been distracted doing gutter shit for people who's lazy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of thinking about how I'm going to buy options and stocks and shit, they got me thinking about, I don't even want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, gutter shit. You're going to find out. But then the little things I do, get my little website, do my little videos, do my blog or whatever. You niggas want to bite that too and try to diss me? I'm not that type of Christian. Let's get to that. And we're not biting that bum-ass, cat-loving dude, man. Get out of here. But yeah, let's talk about that. That's the crux of it. For me to allow that to happen, that's me bearing a cross. That's me allowing myself to be crucified for other people to live. So the years I spent in Grand Army Plaza, when they had no books on hip-hop, years and years and years and years and years, for them to give Jay-Z a room, that's an injustice. Native New Yorkers should be up. That's why your shit is fucked up like that right now. A native New Yorker who went through the whole city, all through the city as a sub. And they diss me like that. What are they going to do to you? You who was there September 11th. Snowstorms, rain, people get shot, crack. If they could do that to me, so that they could give you Kendrick Lamar and Drake, so they could have you looking at a dead Biggie and try to stick. No, I'm not. So you could kill Pop Smoke. And you accepting that? Well, I'm going to say something about that. But now, let's get to this. Damn, I already touched 40 minutes already. Now this one right here, now, It's funny that's Easter Sunday too, because metaphorically, we speak in metaphors because that's how most people, not most people, my audience, I like to paint pictures, and that's the good thing. I like to give examples to clearly illustrate what I'm talking about. You see, right now the conflict is, Easter Sunday they used to play 10 Commandments, right? Back in the day on ABC. And it was Charleston Heston or whatever like that, right? And what I've been fighting within my family is the consciously and subconsciously, it's like they still want the story to look like Charlton Heston. Meaning, no adjustment to the perspective of the Bible and Christianity. The problem with that is that they're walking contradictions because number one, and I'm gonna tell you why that's important. I have to confront this, which is the timing of it. Again, and it has to do with my grandmother and her family. That's why I'm licking out on them. I have to do it like that, because again, that's the basis of which that they've been attacking me by attempting to undermine me by subtly counteracting my perspectives on spirituality, politics, whatever. But the premise of which why they're doing it is not righteous, but they want to act Christian. That's the problem I'm having with my grandmother and her family, including my mother and my father, everybody, a whole bunch of them. That's what they're doing. So they want to be Christian, but the basis between why they want to be Christian is rooted in an anti-black hatred. You hear me? Let me illustrate to you. And why it's important to me, because I could give a damn. But, first of all, it's energy. And these are people who are related to me. So I have to be, especially when it has to do with my mom. So if my mom is participating in their collective, because it's an energy, you got to think. If you're praying, you're combining your energy. So if you're combining your energy based on certain principles, it could affect someone who is in line with those principles, right? What are these principles? Biblical principles. A lot of times, what you believe, you make into a reality. That's what people, you understand? If you think something, a lot of times it does manifest into reality. Is it spooky? You tell a metaphysicist that, astrophysicist, and that is the big, and we're gonna give you a little bit about. That's the thing about it too. Here's the thing about it too. You see the shit I'm spitting? I could go way deep. I could do that, right? And that's the basis of what I'm saying. Like, they're telling me, like my family, right? They're giving me Jesus, right? Like, oh no, you need to go to Jesus. So you're automatically, there's a reason why you're doing that. So you're dismissing the fact that I'm a certified scholar who went to Egypt. You're not telling me, yo, what are your thoughts on the Exodus? No, you're telling me, you know what, fuck all that Egypt shit, Jesus. Which, number one, bullshit because you're Haitian. Not to say you're a voodoo practitioner. See, which is, and I don't even, why should I qualify that either? You're living in a time where, listen, I go to the library right now, there's books by white people about voodoo. You Haitian people are initiating white people into voodoo. White people in the South writing about, they call it low country voodoo in South Carolina and shit like that. Hispanics on the cover of the magazine in the library about that shit. But in 2025, and you see it too. I'm sure Oprah had an episode. Nigga, they just had Black Panthers all over, but you telling me about Jesus? It's not even, no, let me not say, I'm not telling me about Jesus. It's the way you're telling me about it. That's what I'm saying. Not the fact that you're telling me about Jesus. Let me correct that. It's the way you're telling me. With no acceptance, no critical thinking, no adjustment, nothing. Because it's a subtle way to undermine what they want to see as my overstanding, give me doubt about it, because my overstanding, your thoughts manifest, and if I manifest it, it'll do what? Fuck they shit up, and they're like that's what it is. That's what the older people don't want. They don't want to change the paradigm, and they know that thoughts are the first way. Consciousness is the first way. Like, oh, why is this going on? Why is this going on? They don't want that to occur, because a lot of that is putting smoke and mirrors in your mind to make you think crazy. Now, remember that. So, and I had to attack, and so my mom, they participate in these things. Now, it's funny, like I said that last week, and lo and behold, my grandmother had her birthday. Look at the timing. Turned 95, good year. And at the same time, it's Easter Sunday. And what they do, they have a gathering of all of them and don't invite me. So that's a cross. So it's like, oh, we're having a gathering, and it's a spiritual gathering, and we're not inviting you. So that's a way to tell me that something wrong with me and how I think. And I'm attacking that, because on two levels. Number one, practically and energetically. I'm not going to let you go organize together under the premise of hating me, and I'm just going to sit here and take it. That's what happened to me when I was in New York. That's why I'm like, yo, what the? Yeah. See, they were preying on me. Pray. Getting it? Yeah. Now, why do I say that? This is after long years of having endured this type of treatment from them. And I have to tell my grandma, look, Grandma, I'm not going to bear your children's cross for you. I'm not going to let them, because they're upset. See, let me now first, let me place, now you're looking at practical, let me place myself within the biblical context of what I'm talking about. Now, I grew up as an only child. My father has a child previous to my marriage, my mother, their marriage, but I grew up as an only child, right? That's one. So, I'm a male, only child. Similar to who? Oh, okay, all right. That's one. The second thing is that this is more metaphorical, so you have to think. But everything is metaphorical. And I want to give a shout out to the person who keeps telling me, say, oh, yo, we don't watch, even though your people watch everything I do. So this one for you, who told me, oh, I'm programmed. I have someone I know who's Rasta, who I was telling about that. She was like, I'm programmed. The whole basis of Rastafari is the interpretation of a biblical psalm and projecting it on Haile Selassie. So you can't tell me I can't take a Bible verse and project it on myself. The whole Bible is about interpretation. People have different interpretations. Israelites, Baptists, so I can interpret it, especially when I'm living it. Now, so again, I'm an only child, 2 parents. Grew up as that. That's one. Similar to who? Your biblical Jesus Christ. Second, my grandmother and grandfather, right? They have children, and my grandfather has, and there's no word about it too. This is again on the practice. My grandfather is one of those color purple African dude. See, that's the context. If you're looking at it from a Western context, you look at him some way. If you're looking at it from an African one, you look at him different. I choose to look at it from the African context. Just like they do Elijah Muhammad and everybody else. Or Malcolm X. Or Huey Newton. They never look at their flaws. They always look at them, but they revere them. So I could do that with my own grandfather, right? All right. Even though I know, of course he was flawed. We all are. Marcus Garvey too. All right. But here's the next part though. And we won't get into his mystical configuration yet. But watch. So my grandmother and grandfather have their children. My mom is his first daughter, their first daughter, and I'm her son. So now this is how I interpret it, right? The United States of America, many people call it Babylon. Many people call it, interpreted as Egypt of the West. Indeed, we all know that the United States of America, if you look at Washington, D.C., was based on ancient Kemetic principles, right? Right, Aphrodisi? Yeah, nigga. I'm gonna give it to you like that. You know why? If you could pay fucking Cameron millions of dollars for acting like that, how I can't get paid for talking like this? Now, again, only child, similar to Jesus Christ, your so-called, and the firstborn, okay, yeah, and I'm born here, and in my grandfather's pantheon, I'm the first male child born here in America. They come from Haiti, they're here. First male born here in America, which many people interpret as a new Egypt, right? All right. And that us people in America, people of African descent in America, are Israelites, right? Who've been in bondage for 400 years. They just had the 1619 project. So 1619 to 2019 is supposed to be 400 years, of bondage here in America. And I'm the firstborn here. Now, so that's two well-known biblical myths that they got me like this in them. Let me give it to you. Well, number one, the obvious one is the male child, the son. And what happens in the Bible? What does God do? Crucifies his son so that you can live. So if subconsciously you believe in that myth, why wouldn't you think it's okay for you to crucify your son for you to live? Talk to me. You hear me? If subconsciously you believe in the Bible, right, consciously or subconsciously, why wouldn't you think it's okay to sacrifice your son so that you could live? God did it. It's okay for you, right? No, that's one. Here's the next myth. We all know that in the story of Moses or whatever, Moses went to talk to Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. Like I said, we're supposed to be the Israelites here, right? Let's talk about America. This is the metaphor right here. So we're in America. This is Babylon. This is Egypt and shit. So who's Pharaoh? Trump. Trump will be Pharaoh. He's the president. And in ancient Egypt, Pharaoh and president have a correlation. We won't get it, right? We won't get into that right now, right? But watch. So if Donald Trump is Pharaoh, right? And you want your people to go, which is the people here 400 years in America. And in the Bible, it says that Moses went to Pharaoh and said, let my people go, blah, 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 or whatever, right? And he was like, nah. So what did he do? Let's go to the text. Exodus, what did he threaten or do? I think he did it. But either or, I don't care because, again, watch. Exodus 11, verse 5. And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh that stretch upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And I think he did it because later on, Exodus 12, verse 29. Now at midnight, the Lord struck down every firstborn in the land of Egypt. So if your God if you go to ask someone who you can interpret anybody's Pharaoh. So you go to Donald Trump right now, you say, yo, Donald Trump, I want you to give the black people this. And he like, nah. So all right, God gonna get you. What he gonna do first? comes kill the firstborn, which would be who? Me, nigga. Hell no. You see what I'm saying? You get it? You get it? And when I look back at my life, I've been struck a whole lot of times. And you know what it, and isn't it the interpretation of something about you strike down and then let's try to look in the videotape. Let's try to see what's going on over here. Yeah. All right. The blood on the doorpost will be a sign to mark the houses in which you live. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and it will not harm you when I punish the Egyptians. So in your Bible, in order for your God not to strike you down like the Egyptians, there must be blood on the doorpost. Well, you know, I've shed that blood, though. That's that. Kind of did both at the same time. Watch this. Ready? Watch. This is exactly why that bum married to that. I don't know if you married still. The one that was married to the lawyer from Poly Prep. That's why he was on whatever show talking about day 1, 2, 3. Because I already said that. February 13, 1998, when I was brutally, they tried to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Tried to cut me up in Bentleys. Friday the 13th. On Sunday the 15th, I left the hospital. And where did I go? My grandmother's house. So it's like I rose up the third day. Then I went and put the blood on the door 538. Was that what I was forced to do? Again, that's how I interpret it. And it's not a far-fetched interpretation, people, because, again, the concept, and goes back to seriously what it is the fact that there's a reason why, again, my family members do not want to expand the See, I went to Kemet. I'm more of a person who looks at the original source of all three religions coming from ancient Kemet. I'm apologetic. But if you live your whole life reading the Bible where the people from Kemet or Egypt are cursed, such as Ham, I'm your antagonist. You're looking at me like, what? Egypt, Blacc, good. What are you talking about? Egypt ain't shit for years. And that's what the undercover fight been within my family. And I'm here to tell them, no, I'm not letting you do that no more. No, I'm fighting you. I don't care, grandma, anything. As a matter of fact, this is coming from my grandfather died 5 years. This is coming from him. My dad is mem. Parce que for who? People who not even Haitian. People who don't like, who are anti-Black. Listen, and this is part of it too. My family is full of, is Pan-African in the sense of people, I have cousins who are, all of them too, funny, Arab, Haitian, Trinidadian, and Jamaican, Indian, Trinidad, and Jamaican, and African American. They all know me, which is part of the reason the Barclays Center on a practical level too. It's like, Jamaicans, if the Jamaicans know any rapper, they know me. You think niggas was rapping in 1991 and 2 in Flatbush? Barely. Y'all niggas was on, especially you Haitian niggas, you niggas was on reggae. I was rapping. I began to not just me, people rapped, but the melding of hip hop and reggae, I'm one of the with compa. Oh, you know, that's me. Hip hop reggae, I didn't start. Well, you put the compa in it, I run that. But that's what I'm saying. These people, I grew up with them. How is it that they've never, like, say, yo, come do a jack, come do this, come do Trinidadian, Jamaican? That's wrong because they're anti-black Haitian. That's why. And the Arab Haitian. And my cousin who's Arab Haitian. You don't think this nigga know T-Vice? Them niggas don't know me? They never be like, oh, yo, come through. And that's cool. But then you niggas want to come to New York and rap? You want to come on the Parkway and diss and be like Biden, call yourself DJ, call yourself this, and diss me? The one who shed blood for this? When you niggas was hiding in Erasmus and the, I was a black guy. I was the one who, my name is Eddie Petit. I was Eddie Petit, 1980s, across the street from the projects, downtown Brooklyn. Where you was at? You was in a mountain somewhere, shitting behind a goddamn goat, nigga. That's the hate I'm talking about that I'm not allowing no more. That's a crucifixion. Yeah. And I'm gonna show you. This is you think this, let me tell you something. This is when it starts, boy. You see this right here? Yeah. This your boy right here. Yeah. Talent show in a Haitian radio station, 1984. I'm gonna tell you a good story about. Yeah, that's me. And you know how you know the thing about that too. You know, let me tell you. It's even the guy they call my father used to call. You know, one time he called me in a nasty way. He called me TJZ, not in a nice way. Not like TJZ, like TJZ. Yeah. So that because at this age, look. This is me. And I'm in a gifted program at the same time. I'm doing this. And I'm in a gifted program in my school at the same time. They've been in, listen, all of them. And let me tell you how it's sinister, how you know. See, that's the thing. And a lot of this too is for Haitian Americans like me, Caribbean people who have parents from other countries, because Jamaicans is it's a little easier for Jamaicans because it's not a big jump. It's not. That's why I can speak patois. No matter if everybody want to say my patois or whatever, nigga, I speak that shit. I was just watching you guys your elections, and plus I'm gonna talk about that shit too. That's the part of it. To understand people, you have, knowing their language, you understand their consciousness. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? You understand why so I remember when I was this age, they used to say to me in Creole, and sometimes even they didn't think I understood. Say, when you get l'esprit, you have spirit. That's what that literally translates to as a kid. So to think about, since then, people who tell you have a spirit and how they've treated you, you're like, damn, you motherfuckers ain't shit. I'm going to give you an example. And they try to hide it, they just can't. That's what's happened. That's like, when I was a little homie, they seen it was cool. But then when they seen it start kicking in, they getting mad. That's what it is. So they want to discredit everything I do while attacking me spiritually. Now, the overt thing is to think that, a nigga taking a pin on a doll and he ain't doing like this with you. No. People could pray. God, your God and your Bible killing mad niggas in that shit. What you talking about? He killing mad niggas in that shit. So if you're asking your God, God, and And we know that there has to be multiple beings in the Bible. Genesis 1:1 refers to Elohim, and then there's Yahweh. And there's clearly the difference between Elohim and Yahweh. All right? Now, see, that's the problem. The fact that I know that is something that people who know that are threatened by. And Haitians, they know that. That's their advantage. But yeah. So I'm gonna give you an example of how wicked, of the wickedness I've had to endure in the hands of these people who saw that I had l'esprit. Nobody's more wicked than somebody who has a kid who knows you and wants your kid to be like you. They hate you, but they want. That's what it is. So like I have an uncle who hates me. Now, he only hates me because he's mad he's not me. He said I can't be on this level. I'm a hip hop Green Beret now, nigga. You not this, right? Boom. So he like, oh yeah, he gonna talk shit about me, but he wants his kid to be just like me. Buy like mad polo for the nigga, like. They all do that. Oh, it's hilarious. But let me show you how wicked. I have an aunt. Oh my God. She can't hide her wickedness if she tried. I hate to say it. Worst thing about her son, again, she had a baby. She has kids from an Arab Haitian. And the thing is that when you don't see, people see you before you see yourself. That's why knowledge of self is good. Because if you don't interpret and see yourself within context, try to see yourself, you can't see how people might see you. Right? So this is me seeing years later, oh, this is what they seen. Oh, okay, that's why he treat me like that. And it became with the music. That's what I'm saying. And I'm looking at it like, why am I getting, and I'm saying why? Because they don't like what I potentially represent, which is black consciousness as a Haitian person. That's a scourge to these people. As embodied by Papa Doc. That's why me taking that moniker and making it. That's why I'm saying that shit of Eminem calling Papa Doc in the movie that could not have been a coincidence, especially with Trackmaster Steve Stout. Because I'm gonna tell, cause don't let me start and tell you how I know Steve Stout know me, because Steve Stout paid for my godbrother's education at St. John's. And he lived one block over from Foxy, who Trackmasters produced. And then I found out Tone from Trackmasters lives in Atlantic Terminal, which is 2 blocks away from my grandfather's house. So they all know me. That's what makes me mad. So all these years you've been attacking me, trying to play me. Now, let me talk about this chick. This is my aunt, right? So as a kid, yeah. So I like music. So I used to take guitar at Brooklyn Music School downtown. That's the thing too. It's the pedigree too. It's like, you front on what? It gotta be the pedigree. Cause none of you got my pedigree. You hating. I'm sick of that shit. Now, so I was a kid, right? And then I was taking music with I had a little keyboard, little Casio, right? And then I remember, I think my cousin, she wasn't using it. I think she had a keyboard, somebody bought it for her, whatever, right? I found that shit, word to my mother, in my grandfather's closet. My grandfather had a junkie closet. Went in there, I said, oh shit, look at this shit. Took it, right? Wiped it down, took it home, right? Nice little Casio keyboard. I had shit. I was like, I'm trying to play with it, right? My aunt comes to the crib one day, boy. She was there the whole day, right before she leaves, she like this. Came and just grabbed the shit and took it from me, yo. Wickedness! I've had to endure this wickedness from these people for too long, and it's, no more. That's one level. And then there's a level of them continuously trying to create somebody in my image, like my cousin who's Trinidadian Haitian. This dude, yo, they try listen, and that's why I came here too. Dude he calls himself bookman, this, blah blah blah. Ain't from Trinidad, ain't Haitian. He don't speak. But guess that's why I'm fighting for my legacy and my birthright that my grandmother and even if it's not my grandmother, my grandfather gave it to me. I'm gonna fight for it till I'm dead. None of you can take it from me. You can't. I'm here to fight y'all for that shit. Because it's clear. It's clear. You try to call yourself bookman, this, blah, blah, blah. You rap. You go to Egypt. You try to be me to try to do what? So while you trying to be like me, they try to eliminate me spiritually for you to take my spot? For you to take what I have? Like you took from my uncle. No. My grandmother might. Nah. Cause you get bold. You big and bold. My grandmother emboldens you. The other people in my family, they embolden you guys to think that it's okay to diss me. They hate me, so you can't. You can't. I'm talking to Paul, Pauline, all of you. I'm talking to you. Don't think that you could step to me in that way or creep up. You're not creeping up on nothing. This thing that's happened. My uncle died. His wife moved into his crib. His Jamaican wife moved into his crib. And then y'all partying like, yo, yeah, word, yo, F that nigga TNG. What? F you. See, that's the sentiment that has Cartel and Barclays. F me. Well, guess what? God said, the universe said, you know what? F me. You know what? Trump is the big F you to you. For trying to diss this man. Just like you killed Biggie, just like you killed Tupac. Now, let's go further. On a practical level, like I said, it's this unwillingness. We've seen things evolve. The funny thing is, like, while they want to try to act like or diminish or say, you know, imply that my thoughts are not right or that I'm wrong or whatever. Meanwhile, they've literally sat and watched Blacc just spread over everywhere. They can't look at nothing without thinking about me. That's how God got them. Definitely not no hip hop. Because the guy they're looking at, Charlemagne, the piece of trash, who you think he's trying to be like? This dude, he's a perfect example of why you lost too. And why I gotta talk to. Now he wanna scoot over and talk about, oh yeah, the Democrats. Nigga, you the top Democrat. What you talking about? Oh, the Democrats lost. You lost. Yo, bro. I remember 2016. Every donkey of the day, Florida. Biden said, yo, if you ain't black, blah, blah, blah. You ate that. Now Trump comes in, destroys you, and now you want to scoot over like you're not Democrat. No, nigga, you Democrat. As a matter, if I was from Florida, I mean, I live here. Big up Florida. I would, yo. I remember after the hurricane that just happened, which is a spiritual thing. We're going to get into that. We don't want to get into deep, right, Dorothy Desir, about politics and spirituality? Huh. When I had that Hurricane Milton joint, and then I heard somebody from Florida call like he was crying, I was like, man, this. It's like, did he help this situation? That's a perfect example of how, like, see, that's what's going on even with them. That's what I'm saying with my family. They'd rather destroy themselves rather than be compromised or, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they ended up doing, destroying themselves. That's what you've ended up doing. You would rather put Joe Biden, who couldn't do nothing, as president just to keep your low power you think you have? That's the thing. These people would rather go with this whatever hodgepodge, not right concoction of spirituality that they're following than to admit or even go in my direction, or when they already are. That's what I'm saying. The dude you try to bring, your little dude, he want to be like me. You see that? And then you want to have a party with, like, come on, man. Because there's even concepts like Jesus might be black, or Christ, even though he may or may not have existed. To me, I don't know that, but I feel like Christ is a title. There's books about that. And other concepts like God is in you. That's the point of compromise. Those are points of compromise right there. Mary made a song about it. It's the God in me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. See, that's how I look at it. So I could compromise and go to your church, whatever, chill. But you want to try to make it like I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm stupid, or I'm crazy, but that's coming from a place of wickedness. That's why. That's what it is. And that's why you're going to falter. That's why you make Christians look bad. That's why you're looking tore up. You're emboldened by my grandmother. Yeah, my grandmother 95. But when she gone, you're going to fall the hell off. Yeah. I'm here to tell you. And I'm here to tell my grandma, I'm not going to carry the cross of the wickedness of how your kids have been treating me. Or the fact that 538, they left the problem for me and my mom, including your son, to deal with. And then now they're mad because I've been for years telling you two things. I told you, I'm the one that made them give you the money, and they've been on my back for the past 20 years like Christ. And now it got proven, and I'm going to show you how. Because when my uncle was on the floor dead, I was there. Now, we're going to get into specifics on the political crucifixion of the aftermath of the eminent domain. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to show you. Watch. So when this 538 Barclays Center issue was going on, and let's bring it to today. Let me see if the other thing, yeah. We'll get into it. We'll get into that. We're going back and forth, but we'll circle back on that. So that's the crux of it. But that's the basis of what I'm discussing. The crucifixion based on the fact that my ideas being ridiculed, right? While at the same time being co-opted, my spiritual ideas, all my ideas, my ideas as far as hip hop, my ideas as far as hip hop as African religion. That's the key to it. That's the key to it. That concept is the reason why I'm simultaneously attacked and co-opted. Like bum ass niggas from Genius.com, like Markman, who tried to wear a polo, like both Sunez and Markman. Two niggas who want to wear a polo and be journalists and act like they're not getting it from the God. That's racism. Just like John Caramanica from the New York Times who went to Stuyvesant. But see, that's how God works. John Caramanica from Stuyvesant, right? He's a writer from the New York Times. He went to my high school. I don't remember nothing about him. I know I rapped, right? And the dude I was in a group with was his friend. So one day I was like, I'm talking to him, I'm like, oh, you went to Stuyvesant? I was like, yo, bro, you cool with the dude I was in the group with? You remember me? No answer. Now, he's Jewish. Now, here's the thing. Something like that could be interpreted as racist because you're openly not acknowledging a black man Why? What's the reason and why? I went to your school. I'm a rapper, but you don't acknowledge me? That's racism, right? Now, the funny thing about it is, right? And the dude that they see, the dude, and we're gonna get into it. Obviously, the dude, Mr. West, that's the perfect example, right? That's the dude that they elevated to go against me. You know that, right? With the polo and the backpack, and that's who he was supposed to be. Me. Now, I look on John Carmonic Facebook page. He with Kanye West at a joint right here. Now you see how this for the past, is it a coincidence for the past what he's been doing for the past, how he's been acting down to wearing a black Ku Klux Klan. Yo, hip hop is over, boy. But that's what you get. You tried to rise this, and he's not even from New York. You tried to rise him up. He's trying to keep up, and he going crazy. And he turned on you. He started calling Jewish people all the time. You can't do that to me. Jewish people love, listen, let me tell you, and that's the thing about it too. And that's not, it's again, the attempt to frame me in a negative manner is just jealousy, bro. That's what it is. Because all the shit that you probably try to project, say I'm radical, black radical, and the man that you tried to push up and be like, oh no, he's the man, he turned out to be the piece of trash anti-Semite that you probably wanted to project on me. Even though I went to a school with Jews at Stuyvesant. No, listen. Little private school I went to, and we're going to get into that, about how, my first school was in the Hasidic Jew spot, Crown Heights. Went to Stuyvesant. My boy, he was Jewish. Jeff. Went to Poly. Jeff, right? Then I went to Brooklyn College, full Jews. As a matter of fact, I'm cool. I was in a class. I remember in Stuyvesant, I had a class. It was all Hasidic Jews. I used to have that shit on fire. I used to call myself the hip hop Hasidic Jew. I'm wearing the black shit now. Because of the fact that I kept my shit fundamentally hip hop. That's why I used to call myself the hip hop Hasidic Jew. So to see that Kanye West doing that, I feel bad about that. Because I know there's Jewish kids or whoever, they love hip hop, they intellectualize the shit, and they project it on him, and he let them down. But it's the fault of people like Danny Castro, who know me but waited for 300,000 people to die. Danny Castro is a dude from Lyricist Lounge who sees me all the time. I'm like, yo, what's up, Danny Castro? He like, nah. And he like, yeah, cool. Then 300,000 people die, and then that's when he calls me? In Haiti after the earthquake. That's wrong. But that ain't nothing. My mother's friend, her daughter, she's the same thing. And it's all in the same base. Baruch. Yeah. I think I talked about that. Baruch is the place that was supposed to be the first Africana studies, Puerto Rican studies spot. They've totally wiped that out. See, that's why, again, Fat Joe's and Bowling say 50-50, the dude Sunez talk shit, Dr. Cologne, and we coming out with all of those. Yeah, I have videos with niggas is looking desperate. Like I said, like Mark Lamar Hill with Captain Tazariak. That's a perfect example of super contradiction. First of all, you're Muslim. You're on some Muslim stuff. You work for Al Jazeera and all that. Now you all of a sudden you want to do stuff with Captain Tazariak, the Israelite, bro? Because you saw my video with him. Video with Tazariak. They're all coming out. This is the comeuppance of that. All anti-E props because of the basis of his ideas. And now that's the crucifixion I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's the crucifixion. And to see them scrambling right now, the disarray, and that's a result of it. You went against a prophet. racist tendencies. Like I said, the hip hop Ku Klux Klan. It's mostly people who are black, who are Hispanic and white, who get together, think they know hip hop, and then they co-op ideas, but don't incorporate black people in it. That's why you lost. Microcosm of the Democratic Party itself. Somebody said something good. I forget his name. He was like, the Democrats made a calculation. They thought that they'd always have the youth vote, and that as America became less white, that they would still be on top. That's their arrogance that did that. See, because when you mean youth vote, you mean controlling the culture. They thought that Stephen A. Smith started to think that he was Floyd. Just because Floyd, you think he doesn't read or whatever, you thought you was him. You think you're Jay-Z because you were at the show. You think you're Dave Chappelle because that's your man. That's what happened. That's what happened. You got arrogant. Arrogant based on racism. That's racism, for you to think that you run somebody's culture and you can and you could gatekeep. Now, let's go on. What else we want to cover? Yeah. Now, let's bring it to what I was saying about an example of the wicked political crucifixion. Oh, I was talking about the Barclays Center. And so this is what happened. This is an example of the wickedness I've had to deal with. This right here. And I probably told the story already. So while it was going on, the Barclays Center, the issue, first of all, it was a huge issue. That's the first thing. Just by default, meaning just like on GP, I don't even, like, just by default, but being involved in it, I had to get popular. How? And I was out there. That's how I should go. Again, that's why I call myself the Black PreZ1Don. I had to almost create a new title for myself because this is on hip hop style. Because I'm not an elected official, because they're corrupt. Not because I really didn't want to play their game. I had my own platform. So I felt like I had my own platform. Really what it is, I felt like I had the ability to be independent. That Adams was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had that ability. That's what it is, basically. And I function as such de facto anyway. Like I said, community board meetings, borough hall, city hall, stay going to stuff. And I'm on the street. These niggas don't just be on the street. When I mean on the street, I mean literally walking. You never seen them. Never. For my years in Flatbush walking around, I never seen an elected official. Never. I seen Yvette Clark one time at the because you know why? Oh, watch. Yeah, it's all coming out. Watch. So while this is going on, like I said, I'm going everywhere. I'm doing my thing that my grandmother told me to go do. That's the thing too. So I'm going around doing blah blah blah. Right now you gotta understand, and this went into another issue I'll talk about another time. When they announced it, they already came up with a dichotomy of people who were against it and people who were for the stadium, right? Me, I already interpreted it as like, I don't give a damn, I got leverage. I got a crib, nigga. That's how I looked at it. And that's how I approached it. And I got a constituency which are Haitian. That's how I approached it, politically. And that's where it began. The crucifixion on all sides. Family, political, yeah. That's why I had to that who I talked about in my article. Beginning with Yvette Clarke, the Haitian political contingent, a combination of Yvette Clarke's contingent, Haitian contingent, Herbert Daughtry, Al Sharpton contingent. And of course, the person who, so this is what happened. So it's opposition and people for it. Me, I was like, I don't give a, again, I'm for economic development. That's the first part. That's what it is. I'm the bucket politician who's thinking about economic development, who has something. Everybody talking about the shit didn't have shit. I had something. That's why this is an American injustice. How you got a property that's worth 30 years, you got, and then they trying to play you in favor of people who come from another country? That's wrong. And you're all Democrat. That's why. Now, here's the thing. Let's get to it. So they had the opposition, and then they had the people for it. Now the opposition framed themselves as representing the community, which was not right. Which, number one. But what it is, these were people who had begun to move into the neighborhood, begun to gentrify the neighborhood. First issue. Right? Letitia James became their spokesman, all right, person. So this is the basis of what Letitia James catapulted her career. Now you see the opposite. That catapulted her career, that gave me extreme opposition. You hear me? On all sides, for a variety of reasons. Familial first, then political, both. My family, mother, father included, going crazy for a variety of reasons. A combination of jealousy and greed from them, including my mom and my pop. And politically, like, how are you going to frame it? And the thing about it, again, now watch what happens. So Letitia James comes up, three major things. Letitia James frames herself as leading the opposition, becomes elected city council person. After the previous city councilman got shot in City Hall a couple of months before. You see me talk about it in the video. Shout out to Jeffrey Davis. Right? Yeah. Dude gets shot. They announced the stadium. Letitia James gets elected by representing the people who are against the stadium. One. Then you got a dude who lived way up the block. He creates an organization to represent the community. I know him for this day. It's called Prospect Heights Neighborhood Development Council with Gib Vaconi. What up, Gib? Right? Third thing. Again, the area was getting gentrified. So they had built a condo. And you know, so they built the condo. You know, let me tell you how ill it is. They built the condo, right? So when they announced the deal, this condo was built already. They drew the line of the project around the condo, bro. It's nah, we're not touching that condo. So they had a dude who lived in the condo. He created a movie named Daniel Goldstein. The movie's called Battle for Brooklyn. It's about the very issue. Now let me show you the wickedness. Again, I used to go to multiple of the meetings to meet people. That's how I met the developer, Ratner. And that's how I met Londell McMillan, who's the lawyer for Prince, blah, blah, blah. I remember meeting him and telling him, yeah, you know, I own this, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get down, but I want to oppose, but I want economic development. And he was supposed to be part of the deal. He's like, oh, no, I'm down. Yo, don't have to worry about it. I'm Farrakhan's lawyer. That's what he told me. I shook his hand. I'm like, all right, cool. Haven't heard from you since, Londell. That's one. And I haven't heard from Londell, but the dude on my block, he knew you and he didn't bring me too. Upa Bombu Baisa. Yeah, you know who I'm talking to. Upa Bombu Baisa. It's spilled it fit. Now, so the dude who lived in the condo he makes a movie representing himself as like under the threat of and they had the wherewithal. They had the organizational wherewithal. They had see, that's what got to them too. They expected, and that's why I'm fighting. What they expected was, see, people plan behind your back before they announce. Don't get it twisted. They're in the back room planning, then they announced. See what they did? They planned, they did the stadium, announced it to us talking about Jay-Z owned it, and we were supposed to just be like, woo, Jay-Z owns the team. I was like, where the cash at? I don't care about, I rap too. That was my attitude. And I had a degree. They hated that. And we Haitian. And I'm black. That's the problem. They used to black taking the vet. See, and that's the thing. See, and that's why I have to talk about that community. This is the fight. The fight is between people from other countries who look at America as little microcosm of their country and want it to function as such. So it's supposed to be, if it's Chinatown, it's supposed to be in the interest of China. If it's Haiti, it's supposed to be in the interest of Haiti. If it's Jamaica, it's supposed to be in the interest of in Jamaica. The problem for me, and I could talk for Haiti, is that the people from Haiti, I'm not gonna acquiesce to Haitian racism. The same Haitian racism that caused them to kill Jovenel Moïse. You see, because in them, you don't see that in America because, again, in America, it's this dichotomy of black and white. They don't know the nuance of Arab, Chinese, mulatto in Haiti. And people take advantage of that here. But I know. But see, and I had to learn because even me, being raised here, I didn't look at a difference like, oh, you Arab or you, I just looked at it light skin, dark skin. Then I had to learn after trying to make moves in the Haitian community, specifically the music industry, oh, these motherfuckers is hating on me because I'm black. That's why now I'm not going to accept that. Oh, we all black shit. That's bullshit. Not when they used to call my grandfather cochon noir. Now, let's talk. Forgive my language, people. Okay? I apologize, but if you could accept it from Cameron, you're going to accept it from me. If you could accept it from Sweet Mickey Michel Martelly, you're going to accept it from me. Now, so that's the basis of why. It's like, oh, some of these little black Haitian dude trying to get money. Because in their mind, especially, that's why I know the opposition comes from the Haitian community too. Like George Boucicault, racist. George Boucicault, m'en parle avec. Ou songe là, you remember when I said, m'te dit ou ba pour essayer de mettre melon bouche moi, ou femme ça n'importe là encore, m'a pour casser jolo. Là m'a dit ça. That you're an old man anyway, but you're an arrogant racist dude. M'a dit ça là. Because I know you behind stuff like that. You try, but it can't work. And it's not working. And that's what I'm saying to all. That's what, again, niggas try to do. You're not going to, if you're from another country, do not think I'm going to allow you to use the American government against me. Or l'État, or like the cops. That's the contradiction. See, that's why this is happening too. Because at one end, you're criticizing America, and on the other end, you criticize America, you want to use it, but then you want to attack citizens? I'm not accepting it because you're not letting me go to your country. Word. See, that's the mentality they have. An anti-exploitative black mentality that they probably knew that I was going to fight. Now, so the dude, he makes a movie about dramatizing the situation. At one of the meetings, like I said, I met Londell McMillan, and the dude, he interviewed me. Remember talking, Daniel Goldstein. I go see the movie, I'm not in it. But who's in it? The people who live next door and the people who lived around the corner, all my peoples. He did that on purpose. See, that's what it is. See, that's what I'm fighting now. Not only are you trying to eliminate me politically, you're trying to wipe me, you're trying to erase me out of history, and I'm not having that. I'm not having that. That's what I'm fighting. That's the crucifixion I'm talking about. And that was 20 years ago, and I had 20 years of dealing with that. See, because that's how politics works. They bring you in. Just like they brought in Jumaane Williams, a person who I graduated before in his. They're all doing that. That's why you see Eric Adams empowering this girl named Shelly from Brooklyn College, who's nowhere near around my neighborhood, but gave her money for her little Caribbean, even though, I don't know, she's Indian something, Indian, Trinidadian, racist people too, like Guyanese, all have this aspect of their culture, which is anti-black, that been hiding under blackness while perpetuating the racism in their country. You think Nicki Minaj is black, but she's Indian, Trinidadian. Yeah, let's go. Now, so Eric Adams, he's giving Mano keys to the city. He's giving Shelley Worrell money for that's gonna show you right there. That's the beginning again. Those two, I'm telling you, the whole pantheon. Where did he start? State senator in my neighborhood again. And Eric Adams, I have an email of me asking you for a job, meeting you. Yeah, I have that email still. Like I said, I have written stuff. I have 5 email addresses full. No answers from nobody. And that's crucifixion. That's trying to make me feel like I'm doing something wrong or doing bad. Or something. Or you're trying to put a cross on my back. That's what that means, people. That's putting a cross on my back. That's what I mean. Like I'm doing something wrong. I'm the problem. You go to school. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. That's what I've been having for 20 years from these people. And the ultimate part about it, and we're going to finish this up soon. But yeah, so this is how Letitia James got up, based on that issue. But like I said, just like Jumaane, who I graduated before, that's what it is. It's like you have to think a lot. Like, so nobody say, get this nigga a job. Nobody? Yvette Clarke or Adams, Sharpton, nobody? Why? See, I'm supposed to sit back and think that it's something that I did. I'm not carrying a cross. You guys are the wicked people. You try to diss a prophet, and it's about hip hop. That's what it is. It's about the fact that I'm the natural fusion of hip hop and everything. God damn it, everything. In every context. The craft, like I said, producing, rapping. That's why a bum ass nigga like KRS-One, he gonna drop his album on my birthday, cause he know. And Kenny Parker wanna wear props KRS for president. And the dude who was the dude who was showing his nuts on HBO now because Vlad put you on, now he want to dispute, you want to call yourself a hip hop analyst. Where you got that from? You got that from me. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not having that. I didn't get cut in the face, spend years in the library, sacrifice. Metaphoric sacrifice of my time, of my energy, of my youth, for you. I didn't die and sacrifice for you to live. No, I did that for me to live. And the people who respect me. That's why all the people around me who've been disrespecting me but still want to be around in my orbit, gone. Get away from me. Everybody. Specifically the people who've been using me by saying they're my family members, but really hate me. And we're going to delineate that. That's the crucifixion I'm talking. The crucifixion that's since this age. Crucifixion that makes people call you TJZ. Yeah. That. Now. So, I know all of these elected. I could delineate where it all came up. I know all of them. I know everybody, but none of them want to holler at me. Why? Because it's hip-hop. The combination they're jealous is professional jealousy. They want to be it. See, everybody, I was looking, even that bum-ass nigga, Errol Lewis. I was looking at some old shit where he tried to call this shit. Everybody wanted to be a hip-hop something. Conrad Tillett, the hip-hop minister, the hip-hop this, the hip-hop that, the hip-hop that. Everybody wanted to brand themselves with hip-hop once upon a time. But guess what? They couldn't hold it. You know why? Because they forgot that hip-hop is from New York. See, I'm a native New Yorker, no matter what. See, it kicked in. It kicked in a while ago. I'll tell you when, too. It kicked in during Obama. This is what this is about, too. This is about how, since Obama, people have been framing themselves in a culturally relevant way and politically been trying to find a balance to that, but they can't. Because it's not there. Even Obama could, listen, right now, if you got Michelle Obama dissing Obama, you niggas got no chance, nigga. You pack it up. But you can't rap. You can't even rap. Yo, bust a freestyle for me. You can't? And you supposed, what gives you hip hop credibility? I see all of these things on TV, people talking. I'll be like, yo, who are you to be talking, bro? Who are you? Can you rap? Do you know about music? Can you even go? Can you do this? You can't even do that. You can't even do that, nigga. And I'm supposed to listen to you. And you so authoritative, like the dude, like the light skinned dude. You're not even like, boy. I gotta talk about the dudes on the podcast that's falling off. If you got a jaw for my man who was on Our World, the Billionaire Joint Boy, you about to fall off, my dude. Especially the two dudes mad arrogant. One, you Dominican, the bald dude, you Dominican. The other one who says he's black, but Melissa Ford half black, half white. She says that. Parks is white. You look like them, and you black? No, nigga, you white too. And you talk like, yo, you some we authority on what? What are these people authorities on? And I'm not an authority? Anyway, that's the crucifixion. Now, let's talk about the resurrection. We won't get into, and I want to say that, let me say a couple of more things, though. On a serious note, so we can finish this up. It's Easter Sunday, and it was significant for me to come through today because, again, like I said, the energy, the fact that it's Easter Sunday, and we want to expand. I'm not going to let people keep me in that same biblical paradigm. And like I said, which I'm changing by reinterpreting certain scriptures. And don't tell me I can't do that, especially if you roster, because again, Psalm 68 verse 31, princes shall come out of Egypt, Ethiopia shall soon stretch her hands unto God. Based on this psalm, you projected on Ali Selassie, and you created the basis and nucleus of your religion / culture Rastafari. So I could do the same. Especially since it is going to that level, because I am the one who uncovered the picture of Papa Doc and Ali Selassie. See, that's a perfect example, too. Like I said, they knew I was coming. And now I see it was destined. Going to Brooklyn College, which is home of the Robert L. Hess collection of Ethiopia, of a great Ethiopian collection, where I studied there, wrote about. I always referred to Flatbush as Ethiopia a long time ago anyway. There's Israelites there, Rastas there, Haitians are very deep into the Bible. So, but putting it within the context of Papa Doc is what they've been not wanting, and that's what's happened. Just by default. It's almost like, they like, nah, don't do it. So they try to fuck me up to not do something, but because they were doing it, it's like I always refer to, this thing called Sundiata, this book called Sundiata, where Sundiata was supposed to be the king, right? So he had an evil aunt who was always doing bad stuff to him, but it was only making him become who he was, and that's how I feel. And that's why I'm going to give this interpretation today, because again, I'm not going to let you guys, whoever you are, to keep me in this biblical paradigm of crucifixion as an only child for other people suffering and bearing people's cross. Absolutely not, bro. I'm not. So how do I counteract that? Is because, again, knowing my history and knowing, which is and reclaiming symbols like the Papa Doc Ali Salah. So you tell me I'm supposed to hate Papa Doc, but then he's with another dude that other people call God or revere? That make sense. And that's what I'm fighting. This anti-Haitian, this anti-Black Haitian conscious and subconscious Black self-hatred that you want to project on me, that you hate me because I'm not going to adhere to. And it's so funny that, and it does have to do with politics, because watch this, right? It's funny. And just to show that when Sumim on another level too, even on that, it's funny that it's going to this level. I'm battling this anti-Black Haitian sentiment to the point of like to tell all you people who try to be French. When you say ancient Kemet, that's why I look at Arab Haitian, whatever Haitian you are, and tell you, nigga, whatever you think that makes you superior to Black people, we gave that to you. Especially if you're French. If everybody knows about the Moors. Right? So that's why I don't have, parlez-vous français, motherfucker. I gave him that shit. What you mean? The Louvre, nigga, I cracked the Da Vinci Code, nigga. That's why today, avant de monter sur bas ça, on s'en a regardé grand-mère. On a regardé Notre-Dame de Paris, à parler des Nicea Creed. I was looking at Notre Dame in Paris, Notre Dame. One of my favorite songs, Notre Dame, mama. That I used to be tearing up at 217. Right, Marlène? Marlène nous pas dire qui compa m'te qu'on a joué. Yo connaît. C'est ça que fait papa comme ça. Cause he heard the compa. Right? So I was just looking at Notre Dame in Paris, right? And then we're talking about the 1700 anniversary of the Nicene Creed, or Nicaea Accord. So I forget. I should know the specific term. Let me look up the specific term. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? All right. The 1700th anniversary of the Council of Nicaea, which is this year, which is 3/25/2025. So basically, is this the anniversary of, they say, of the accord that changed and adjusted the Bible? I was just watching that. So me speaking about it now, on this level, is appropriate. Because are we going to keep living within a 1700 interpretation of the Bible, which of the Bible, which people believe is not totally just? And I don't want to say just. I just want to say that are we going to look at it in context? Are we going to evolve it? They got Tupac in the Vatican. Or are you going to continue to use religion, Christianity, Islam, as a means to manipulate behavior, like they try to do to me. Like tell me to honor my mother and my father even though they treated me like shit. That tell me thou shalt not kill even though somebody over here want to kill me. That tell me to believe a Bible where people from Ethiopia are cursed. Or are we going to evolve? I'm going to evolve. Sorry. And anybody who wants to evolve and have discussions, fine. Because at the end of the day, it's about being a good person. But all scumbags who hide behind religion to blow shit up, slave people, yo, death to honor. Let me not say that. But I'm not the one. And you know what? It is appropriate that, again, it is within the context of me being, like, the way I fused it, which you could not do, which you haven't. The fact that I feel is within the context of hip-hop as African religion, right? And taking on the moniker of Papa Doc. Now, let me tell you why it makes sense. It makes sense because when I was watching that, it reminded me of a story of how Papa Doc excommunicated the Catholic Church from Haiti, which is one of the reasons why Haile Selassie was the only head of state to visit him. You see, because he was suffering, they were being racist towards him too, because he was a person who advocated not only black nationalism, as nobody ever interprets him within the context of the Black Power movement, anti-colonial African liberation movement. Like he wasn't there. And the Nation of Islam while Elijah Muhammad was there. He was the leader of Haiti then. Even your boy Fred Hampton mentioned him. So not only because of that context of black nationalism, but one of black religious self-determination. Yeah. Because the Catholic Church, they after 1804, they left too. They came back. And they signed something called a Concordat. Mala Concordat avec caca tonkunu, but I don't know what this, I have to get, it's a Concordat. Basically, agreement between the Catholic Church and a sovereign nation. One was signed in 1860. The thing about it is, you got to think that from 1800 to 1860, when they're left to their own devices, the Haitians developed their own spiritual system and line of thought, which exists today, which is why they have cognitive dissonance in a sense a lot of times, or just want to be slick niggas. But Papa Doc, he forced the Catholic Church to sign another one, which in 1960, which allowed him to elect clerics. I think he elected 7, which paved the way for Aristide. Right? Again, he was allowed to elect bishops within the Catholic Church. Right? A form of religious self-determination. But then what happened? He dies. And then his son signed a new one. It says in 1984. It is said that shortly thereafter, after he signed that, he got overthrown. Yeah. Got overthrown. So your interpretation of spirituality as a religious leader, as a political leader, I just want I just don't want to be, but think about it, I want my own self-determination, and I should be treated as such because I am an elite scholar. Yeah. But for all those ideas, knowing and not knowing, which I feel I've been crucified. Yeah. One of the ways, I said physically, you know, I've been jumped, sliced, jumped by my family members, sliced, fighting niggas, fighting cops. It's all good. No, it's not all good, but also, you know, like I said, spiritual attacks and mental attacks. I was talking to somebody who called me. I don't know, she was being nosy. A person in my family related to me who I've seen, but I never really, you know, she's a girl and it's not like I, you know, she just came in like the 2000s, but obviously she know who I am. I used to see her, but I'm not like, we're not going to the store to get a Lucy, so we didn't really have any in-depth conversations like that. And she told me their nickname for me was T.A.G. Moonfu, which means Eddie Crazy. And a lot of people say the hat, they think I'm crazy, blah, 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 right? But watch this. Let me show you how God works. The universe, intelligence. Watch this. And this is one of the ways of the resurrection. One of the ways that the universe gave me an alley and said, yeah, man, give them this one to show them. Watch this. So within the context, like I said, of the Barclays Center, Atlantic Yards, and we still didn't discuss a lot. And we're going to get to it. Because I was attacked in many ways within that context. One of the ways, of course, like I say and delineate, is political. By all the black elected officials, I interpret that as them. And they've been getting hit. A lot of people got hit hard. I don't want to start to talk, but a lot of people got hit hard. The Trump thing was just like, it's a lot of stuff that's happened, and I'm like, yeah, wow. The indictments on Adams, and now having to have Trump pardon him, things like that. That's how I see like examples of my vindication. But here's a poetic and ironic one. So this week, Letitia James, the chief attacker of Trump, the person who got big off of the Barclays Center, one of the persons like Adams and Adams, Jumaane Williams, and Letitia James are all black faces with white liberal, not just liberal, because Adams, for them suits he got on, he probably has real estate or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But none of them have any black base, like you would say Sharpton has. You understand? Like having them, that's who they all are. They all, and that's another thing too. These are people that, white people or whoever, when I say white people, I mean like white people, like people with money or whoever, who chose to finance as opposed to a brother like me, even though they couldn't really finance me because I'm self-financed to an extent. But they open doors for them. It's not like none of them have a black none of them. They might now be popular, but none of them have like a black mass following. You understand? Like Al Sharpton did or does. There's a difference. Right? So this week, we see that it was revealed that possible improprieties with her mortgage, which I have to say too is ill, because it's like, so you're into real estate, and that should have been a reason why you wanted to work with me, because it was an opportunity for a black family, a black brother to capitalize off of this, like you wanted to do with James Caldwell, right, Letitia? And Roger Green. You know who you're talking to now. And she did it. So now they on her now because they're checking into her finances, so to speak, right? But so that alone could make me be like, see, I told you they were wrong, right? But this is the irony of it, the poetic irony. The person doing it used to work for a company in New York in the 1980s. A known criminal. He considers himself a criminal, white collar crime. He worked for a company, well known. Again, it's funny, not funny, but it's ironic, not ironic, fitting. From the 70s and the 80s, because that's Trump right there. Trump is a 70s, 80s New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I didn't even know. I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let me look this up. I looked it up, and lo and behold, to see the name of the person who God, the universe, is using as a vessel to prove again, which he's been proving for the past, 6, 7 months, the wickedness and just nastiness of how these people actually are, and how they attacked me for years, telling me certain things, trying to discredit me, attacking me. And what's the name of the company this guy used to work for? Yeah, but no, yeah. So it's like me attacking me, trying to ostracize me. A native New Yorker who grew up, born and raised in New York. Like I said, 70s and 80s. Who would the universe use to help prove my point of injustice, of discrimination, of hate? Who would he use? What name of the company, of the store, would God use? What would the name be? Crazy Eddie. Insane.